Hola todos! Welcome to Everyday Spanish with Stephanie. Today we're doing something incredible. We're going to learn the top 100 Spanish words that make up more than 50% of everyday Spanish conversations. Imagine understanding half of what Spanish speakers say just by knowing these top 100 words. Increíble, right? Now, before we begin, I want to remind you about the Airlearn Languages app. This is an incredible resource to help review what you've practiced here in this video and then continue expanding on your Spanish skills. Okay, now let's get started. The first words that you should know are essential pronouns. We're gonna learn the singular pronouns and I want you to practice them with me. First, we have yo. This means I in Spanish, and it's basically like your best friend. You're gonna be using it all the time. So, yo is pronounced y-o, yo. Make sure that that vowel is very short and sweet. Here's an example. Yo como una bocadilla. I eat a sandwich. Now, next we have tú. This is one of two ways to say you, but this is the informal way. Now again, tú has a vowel that is short and sweet. Tú. Here's an example. Tú eres mi hermano. You are my brother. Next, usted. This also means you, but it's the formal way to refer to somebody. Usted. Usted es mi patrón. You are my boss. Now we have él and ella. He and she. Él, ella. In an example sentence, él es muy bueno. He is very good. Ella toca el piano. She plays the piano. Okay, so those are all of your singular essential pronouns. Now we're going to move on to a few power verbs, starting with ser and estar. Now, ser and estar are two ways to say to be. They're used in specific contexts, though, so I'm going to give you a few examples. Let's start with estar. Estar is the verb that you would use to express temporary conditions or locations. Por ejemplo, estoy cansada. I'm tired. Now, I'm not always going to be tired, so that's why I'm going to use estar. It's temporary. Tú estás enferma. You are sick. Él está contento. He is content or he is happy. Están en el parque. They are in the park. The next way to say to be is ser, and you use this verb for more permanent characteristics. You can use it when you want to say where you're from. Por ejemplo, soy de Argentina. You can use it to talk about your profession. Tú eres mecánico. You are a mechanic. You also want to use it when talking about characteristics that are more core to your identity. So, por ejemplo, ellos son inteligentes. They are intelligent. Let's talk about the verb tener next. Tener means to have, and it's actually used more in Spanish than it is in English. So I'm going to give you some examples. But first, let's go over how they're conjugated in a few pronoun forms. Yo tengo, tú tienes, él, ella tiene. Tengo means I have, tienes means you have, and él, ella tiene would mean he, she has. Okay, here's some examples. Tengo mucho trabajo. I have a lot of work. Tienes una habitación muy bonita. You have a beautiful room. Tiene un automóvil nuevo. He has a new car. Now, you would also use tener in a few phrases that you wouldn't normally use them in English. So, por ejemplo, yo tengo hambre. This literally translates out to I have hunger, but it's just the way that you say I'm hungry in Spanish. Another one that you should know is how it's used to express age. For example, él tiene 32 años. He is 32 years old. Literally, though, it translates out to he has 32 years. So you just want to be aware of the phrases that use tener in Spanish because they're much more common than they are in English. Let's move on to some essential articles. Now, there's two different kinds of articles, definite and indefinite. Let's focus on the definite first. All of the articles I'm about to give you are ways that you can say the. El is the masculine singular. La is used when you have something that is singular and feminine. If you have something that's plural and masculine, use los. And finally, if you have something that's plural and feminine, use las. Here's an example of each. El muchacho, the boy. La muchacha, the girl. Los hombres, the men. Las mujeres, the women. There's also indefinite articles, so let's go over the singular forms of those. You have un, which is for masculine singular, and una, which is for feminine singular. So, por ejemplo, un hombre, and una mujer. All right, you're also going to want to know some crucial connectors. Here's a couple basic conjunctions. You have y, o, pero, porque. Y means and, o means or, pero is but, and porque is because. Now I'm going to say a few examples and I want you to listen for each of those conjunctions. First we have Pablo y Carmen son amigos. Did you hear it? We used y. Pablo y Carmen. This means Pablo and Carmen are friends. Cine o restaurante. Movies or restaurant. Quiero ir, pero no puedo. I want to go, but I can't. Yo estudio porque quiero aprender. I study because I want to learn. Let's go over a few essential prepositions. You have con, sin, para, and en. Sin means without, para means for, and en can mean in or at. Here's a few example phrases. Con mi familia, with my family. Sin dinero, without money. Para ti, for you. En casa, at home. All right, now let's move on to some action verbs. Here's some present tense essentials. You're going to want to know querer. So learn the conjugations for the verb I want, querer. Yo quiero means I want. You should also know ir. This is an irregularly conjugated verb. So vas is the conjugation for you go. Vamos is we go. Here's some examples. Quiero aprender. I want to learn. ¿A dónde vas? Where are you going? Vamos a la escuela. We are going to school. Poder is the verb for to be able to. Por ejemplo, yo puedo means I can. ¿Puedes venir? Can you come? Ella puede cantar. She can sing. All right, we're moving fast, but let's go on to some essential descriptors, starting with adverbs. Bien means well. Mejor is better. Ahora is now. Ya means already. Siempre means always. Nunca means never. Algunos ejemplos, some examples. Yo hablo bien. I speak well. Ahora entiendo. Now I understand. Siempre llega tarde. He always arrives late. You're also going to want to know some key adjectives like bueno or buena means good. Mucho, mucha can mean many or much. Más means more. And muy is very. Algunos ejemplos. Here's some examples. La comida está buena. The food is good. Hay mucha gente. There are many people. Muy importante. Very important. Remember, these 100 words are your foundation to Spanish fluency. Practice them, mix them up, use them in a variety of sentences, and you'll be amazed at how much you can understand and express in Spanish. Remember, the Airlearn Languages app is an amazing resource to help reinforce. Here are some quick tips as you begin to practice. Start with pronouns. They're the building blocks. Next, master ser and estar, because those verbs are crucial. Practice combining your words with some connectors and use these words daily in simple sentences. All right, amigos, if you found this video helpful, be sure to like and subscribe and hit that little bell notification so that you never miss one of our weekly Spanish lessons. Next week, we're going to learn how to combine these words to create even more complex sentences. Hasta la próxima! See you next time on Everyday Spanish with Stephanie.